True story, I used to skate, but I could never afford the ice hockey skates that I wanted because we weren't very rich, so I had to use the hired skates, and that's my sad story of the day. And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original series, Zero Chill. Let me know in the comments below, have you heard of this? Do you like ice skating? What is your favorite ice skating series or movie? But for now, let's jump into it. Talented teen figure skater Kayla is forced to leave everything behind when her family follows her twin brother Mac to a prestigious hockey academy. This series should actually be called Zero Chill Manipulation. When I started watching this series, I really didn't enjoy myself. I felt the characters were so cliche. In parts, they were written badly. The dialogue was very cringy. The characters were doing things I just felt like that wouldn't happen in the real world. And there's so much of this series in the first few episodes that you have to kind of put believability to the side. You just don't believe that someone that has a scholarship would act that way in front of their coach or would do certain things that wouldn't jeopardize their chance. And the way they react, it just feels like they're adding in drama for the sake of story. So the drama's been written in, but you don't feel like it's real. And that is how I felt for like the first 6 episodes. However, when you get to the last 4, there is enough character development there for you to be invested in what the characters are going through. I'm not saying it's a great series by any means, but I think if you're not the demographic for this series, you're going to find something to enjoy about it in the latter half of the season. There are only 10 episodes. The episodes themselves are fairly short. They're about half an hour, except for the first one, which is about 35 minutes. It's filmed fairly well, especially like the editing of the last episode, as there's just juxtaposition between ice skating and hockey. And that's what we need to talk about really for this whole series, because most of this series is, as you'd expect, to be on an ice rink. So whether it's figure skating or ice hockey, you expect it to be, you know, the drama llama to be around the ice hockey rink, all about those relationships. But pretty much, I'd say 80% of this whole series is around the ice rink. You're also meant to believe that this is in London, well, in England. They don't show you a lot of London, England, so it could not be filmed. It does feel like it. I am from the UK, so it does feel like it's not filmed in there, although they want you to believe it. That makes sense. It's also a bit weird that you're getting scholarships for ice hockey in London, well, UK, because there aren't that many professional ice hockey teams. There are a few. A friend of mine used to be on one, so I do know there are a few, but it's weird that the scholarship would be to this. So putting all that aside, what is to like about this series? The first episode makes me feel like this series was meant to be filmed in front of a live studio audience. It feels like it's missing canned laughter, but eventually when you get into the series, you do start understanding what this series is about. So they're just added in drama llama. It's going to give you the sort of Mighty Ducks feel storyline, where eventually the characters will learn something. You know, every single character in this series feels like they need a lot of character development because they're pretty much nasty. Everyone is working around each other to be out for themselves. There's a very selfish nature, apart from like the parents of the twins, who seem to be genuinely nice people. The sister will maneuver herself to get what she wants at the expense of her brother. The brother will maneuver himself to get what he wants at the expense of the sister. The other friends around them, the side character plot lines, they will do the same thing. I would say though, the characters, the side character plot lines are much more interesting than the main protagonist, particularly Bear and Ava. So we have a young family, a brother and a brother, who are on the hockey team, and they have like daddy issues, they have father issues. You see that they're from a demographic of people that don't have a lot of money to spare, and so we have that story, which is more interesting. And then we have the coach and his daughter on non-relationship, which I just feel so messed up. She hasn't had a hug in 6 years, and you're just like, what on earth has happened then? And we have Ava's mother, who wants her to be a professional ice skater, but Ava wants to be on the hockey team. We have the whole rules with ice skating, professional ice skating. You're not allowed a duo, 2 female partners. You know, you have multiple storylines from both sides of the families, and then your protagonist interweaving. And for the most part, it does, the flow of that works quite well. But I would say that there are a fair few particular weak actors in this series. I'm not going to name any because I don't want to point them out. You can decide for yourself. But between the bad dialogue in the first episode that was very cringy, not just the first few episodes, and the bad acting. At times, it feels like a really weighty thing to push through. I would say though, if you do manage it and you start getting gripped with the storylines, or at least wanting to know what's going to happen, if you're putting something on the background, you're like, oh, okay, I'll just keep watching. Or if you really love ice skating or ice hockey, or you did in the past, and you're like, oh, this could be fun. There is that kind of fruition at the end, but it does feel like even that the ending was a letdown. You're like, what did you do all of that for? Now you're going to choose this. It does come to a kind of, you need to choose this, but that person will suffer if you make this decision. And each member there, talking about the twins, have that kind of weight on them, which when you see what they decide, you're like, well, what did I watch this whole season for? Did you guys learn anything, or does it just come down to what you want? Again, it does feel like there's a lot of selfishness that goes into this whole series, especially from the twins. It feels like they're very selfish. They're written selfishly, and you kind of wonder, when are they going to learn anything? You see the parents in the background sacrificing constantly for their kids, which is, what parents do, but they don't. These teens don't seem to realize what their parents are giving up. Because at some point during the series, we even have the son going, I'm not sure I want to play ice hockey anymore. Or the daughter going, I don't want to be this type of ice skating anymore, I want to be this. And changing decisions is fine, but the effect that has around you, that's the kind of thing that just keeps swapping and changing. I found myself so frustrated watching this series, and then with the cheesy dialogue, and then with the ice, I was like, how did I get through this? And I was quite surprised that by the end of the 10th episode, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't even realize I'd watched that many episodes. So although I was very frustrated with this series, I did manage to get through the whole lot. But I can't stand you and say, yeah, it's a great series. It's definitely not for my demographic, even though I do love ice skating. My parents and I used to watch figure skating, the Olympics. We used to love that. A friend of mine used to teach me hockey and ice skating, so I love this kind of genre, and I'm all for it, and I can even give cheesy dialogue and bad acting a go if there's a really decent story, which is why I stuck with it, because I quite liked where the story was going in the latter half. However, I'm still going to give it a C. I was aiming for even less than that, but because there's some sort of something I could get to grips with at the end, I was like, yeah, okay, I don't know if we'll get a second season. If this manages to find an audience, perhaps. Let me know what you thought. Maybe I'm just feeling grumpy today, and that has affected my mood. I do have a headache, so when watching something with a headache, that doesn't help either. I think I was hoping for more from this. Let me know what you thought, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday. This series should actually be called Zero Chill This series should actually be called Zero Chill, aka Subterfuge. This series should actually be called Zero Chill Subterfuge. No, can't say it. This series should actually be called Zero Chill Subterfuge. No, I can't say it.